Okie dokie, we are ready for exercise 5, day 154. So we're just going to do a few more exercises this week and then you'll have a quiz. So I'm just going to get to it. Alright, so page 348, it's talking about the number line again. We talked about the number line last Friday, I think. So the number line part 2. In our last exercise, I introduced the concept of the number line. We learned that a number line is actually a simple way to picture numbers. We also learned that number lines can show fractions and decimals like this. And it has a picture of one there at the top of page 348. Okay, you see that it starts with 0 and it goes 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. Now, remember, I've told you this before. Whenever you're looking at, when you're thinking of fractions with 4 on the bottom, then you need to think of quarters, like quarters, 25 cents. Okay, so 1/4 would equal 1/4. It would be 25%. Because if you divided this, you know how you divide fractions to get the percent or the decimal, you get 25%. So it would be 1/4. Okay, 2/4, which is actually 1/2, right, would be 2/4. Okay, then 3/4 would be 3/4. Okay, that's why sometimes when people say fill it up 1/4 of the way, that they're talking about 1/4, because 1/4 is 1/4. Okay, if they say fill it up halfway, of course that's easy. Okay, fill it up about 3/4 of the way. 3/4, what does that mean? 3/4. Well, that means if you have 100% or $100, 1/4 of that would be $25. 1/2 of that, or 2/4, same thing, would be $50. 3/4 of that would be $75, and then 4/4 or a whole would be 100. All right. Now, it took me a long time. I didn't understand fractions when I was in school. I didn't understand fractions until I was an adult, and that, I think, is because I didn't have a good foundation. So just think of fractions. Now, look at that number line. Notice the 0, okay? So, and you see the 1, okay? The 0 is a whole number, it's nothing. And then you see the 1, that's a whole number, okay? All right, in between there are fractions. There's 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Now, notice that the half, or 2/4, same thing, notice that it's halfway between the 0 and the 1, because 2/4 is half, it's halfway. So what's half of a half? 1/4. Do you notice that between the 0 and the halfway mark is the 1/4, and between the half and the 1, the halfway mark is the 3/4. So 1/4 is half of a half, and then 3/4 is half of the other end of the half. Okay, then you go to 1. Then it starts over. The number line it says it's pointing to 1 1/4, or 1 1/4. Okay, and then it just goes up. After that 1 3/4, it would be 2. Then it would start over. 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3. Okay, so notice how many fractions are between the whole numbers. It's 4. They're divided into 4. That's why it's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And then the 4/4 is the whole number. You don't really count that as a fraction, but you kind of do. All right. An actual number line, the type that you see in real life, goes on forever in both directions, like this. Look at the 0. Okay. Notice to the left, you've got numbers with negative signs in front of them. To the right, you have regular whole numbers. Okay. The numbers to the left of the 0 are called negative numbers. They are less than 0. We show these numbers are negative by writing the minus sign in front of them. Negative numbers are a very are very common in real life. Let's say your grandparents gave you $10 for your birthday. You wanted to buy something for 14, so you had to borrow 4. So if you were going to use a number line to show that story, it would look like this. Okay, so it says subtracting. So okay, notice the 0, okay, and then to the left it goes -1, -2, -3, -4. To the right it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 all the way up to 10. Now, here's what it says. It says right underneath that number line, it says subtracting 14 from 10. Okay? That equals -4. Here's why. Because they gave you 10, okay? So they go up to the $10. That's how much you had, okay? But then you spent all that. So with your hand, cover up the -1, -2, -3, -4. Cover that up to where you only see 0 through 10. Okay? That's how much you had. But because you spent some, you got to go backwards. When you add it, you go forward on the number line. And you probably remember that from like 1st and 2nd grade, using a number line. When you add, remember I think in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade, you would use the number line to jump the little kangaroo. 2 plus 2. You start on 2 and you jump 2 places. Okay, so when you add, you go forward on a number line. When you subtract, you have to go backwards on a number line. So you had 10, but you spent 14. Okay, that means you got to go all the way back to the 0. That would be 10. Plus you got to go 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that you are -$4 in the hole, or you owe 4. Okay? All right, so it's not hard. Let's look at the practice. All right, now it says 2 minus 7. Okay, it says the first 2 are done for you. So 2 minus 7 is -5. Okay, so in your mind, or you can use the number line, you start on the 2 and you go back 7, and it puts you at -5, which that's not on the number line, but that would be the next number. Okay, think of 10 minus 20. That would be -10. If you went to 10 and you went back 20, that's going to put you on the -10 mark on the number line. Okay? All right, look at the but I do want you to notice something. Look at number 1, 2 minus 7. Now, we know that 7 minus 2 is 5. I mean, we know that fact family, right? 7 minus 2 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. We know that fact family. Okay, I want you to notice something. When it's flipped, and the first, because you know when you subtract, the biggest number is supposed to be first. We always tell you that. Well, now we're learning it doesn't always have to be that way. So now it can actually be the little number minus the bigger number. And when that happens, you're going to have a negative. Okay? So just keep that in mind. When you're subtracting the bigger number from the littler number, you're going to have a negative because you're going to go past the 0. Look at number 3. So 12 minus 15. So if you go, just think, what's 15 minus 12? It's 3. But we know it's going to be negative because they're swapped. So it's going to be a -3. And you can think of it like that, or you can use the number line. Okay. Now, look at 6 minus 8. It's -2. 3 minus 5. -2. Okay, go ahead and pause it and finish 6 through 9. Okay, number 6 would have been -2. Number 7 would have been -1. 8 would have been -5. And 9 would have been -9. Okay, if you don't understand that, you need to come and say, Mama, I don't understand the negative numbers. You need to do that. Okay? All right, mixed review starts at number 10. Remember, number 10, that's multiplication. Multiply like there's no decimals. Just multiply like normal. And then when you get finished, you're going to start on the right-hand side of the answer, and you're going to go over 3 places and place your decimal. I think you've been getting that right. The next one's addition. Decimals line up. Just bring your decimal down. Do the addition. Number 12, same thing. Multiplication. Just multiply like normal. Number 13, remember, it's division with decimals. So what you're going to do on the outside on that 0.5, you got to make that a whole number. So pull the decimal over 1 place to the right, and then Inside the box, you have to do the same. One place to the right, so it'll become 42.5. Once you move your decimal, bring it up, and you're done. Okay, just move your decimals and then bring it up. All right, 14, write these fractions as decimals. Notice the number on the bottom. Those are multiples of 10, which means just say it. Just say the fraction, and you'll know how to write the decimal. Because when the number on the bottom is a multiple of 10, it's tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on. And you just write it like you hear it as a decimal. Now, number 15, write 5/7 as a decimal rounded to the hundredths place. All right, now 5/7 it does not have a tenth on the bottom, and you can't change 7 to 10. There's nothing you can do to make it equivalent. So that means the only thing left is division. Okay? And you know when we do this, we have to add our decimals and a 0, and then you just do like normal from there. Okay? But it says round it to the nearest hundredths place. This would be the nearest tenths. This would be the hundredths, but in order to round it, so we're only going to have 2 places next to the decimal, but in order to do that, you've got to have a third number to tell whether this number goes up or stays the same. So you've got to round to where you have 3 numbers up here, okay? And then round it so your answer will only be that, whatever it's going to be, okay? All right, number 16 and 17 says to write the fractions decimals from problems 14 and 15 as percents. Okay, so you're just going to write 14 and 15 up there. Just write it as a percent. Remember, when the number on top is a single digit, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, when you turn it into a decimal, you'll have to put a 0 in front of it. So it'd be 0.0 whatever, okay? So just answer number 18 and 19, and you don't have to answer number 20. I mean, you're doing it. So, okay. So go ahead and do all those, and then check them, and I may or may not grade. I don't know. But whatever you get wrong, exit. But I want you to fix what you get wrong. Don't have me tell you. Just fix it and figure out why you missed it, okay? If you don't know, come tell me. All right, that'll be all for today.